Hi, I'm Amy Whelan and welcome back to Table Flipping Housewife. Today we're going to restore what I believe was originally a piano bench. A friend of mine gave it to me. She found it while cleaning up her father's home and it was in pretty poor shape. The top was tattered, it had very old fabric on it. It definitely had to come off. So I removed the top and took everything off. Now the board is a little warped, but I think that once I add the foam and the fabric, it'll be fine. If not, I'll cut another piece of wood. The piece of it also had a crack here and it was missing the support piece. So I fixed the crack and I added a dowel. You can tell it's been painted and sanded. It's because I painted it poorly and had to sand it. So we're going to start all over. Now I recently restored a wood captain's chair and I put a really nice honeybee fabric on it and I have some left over. So I'd like to cover the top of the seat with that bee fabric. And so I can't decide yet if I'm going to paint the wood part of the bench white as I did the chair, or maybe find a dark chocolate because that dark chocolate is pretty prominent in the fabric. Nonetheless, I'm glad that you joined me. Let's get started. I did decide to go ahead and paint and prime the bench so that it would match the captain's chair with the same upholstery in the event the same person wanted to purchase the two together. I also painted and primed the underside of the seat so that it would look nice and clean and crisp from underneath for the future owner. When that was dried, I loaded my Wagner Flexio 590 with the same white flat paint that I had sprayed the captain's chair with, and I gave the bench 2 good coats of paint. When it was dried, I took my Tacklife Sander, put it on a speed of 2 to slow it down, added some 220 grit sandpaper, and distressed the edges. When I had finished and removed all the dust and debris with a tack cloth, I took some clear varnish in gloss that I had in inventory, and I sealed the bench with 2 good coats. When I distressed the bench, I went down to bare wood, and it's not dark, it's just bare wood. So I did it a little backwards. What I should have done was painted these edges black before I painted them white, so that when I distressed it would then reveal a little bit of black, making it look aged naturally. So what I'm going to try to do is apply some of my Waverly antiquing wax to these areas to try to darken them up. Because I've already sealed it, I took some sandpaper this morning and just scuffed up the areas that are now distressed to get back to that raw wood, so that hopefully it'll take the wax. So let's see if this works. And I'm going to immediately wipe it off. And it did. Much better. I'm going to go ahead and do the same all the way around. I like that a lot. I think what I'm going to end up doing is applying this to the entire bench, because not only is it darkening up the areas that I've distressed, but it's giving the whole surface that antique look. I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and use this whole thing. Use this on the whole item. Just going to apply and immediately wipe off. I'm going to need to go get some more rags. I like it. And then if there are areas that I feel are too dark, then what I'll do is take Waverly's clear wax and go over those areas. That removes some of the dark, but I like this look. I think this looks good. Yay! If I had not sealed this already with that sealant, then the dark wax would absorb into the paint much more than it is now. I used a flat paint because I like the way that flat paint distresses. But that flat paint will absorb the dark wax a lot more and a lot quicker if it hadn't already been sealed. And I like the way this is looking. This was not what I intended to do, but I think it was a happy accident. Here is an example of where the dark antiquing wax is just a little too dark for me. And so most likely I just didn't get enough sealant there before I applied the dark wax. So what I'm going to do is now take their clear wax, I have a little bit in the cap, and I'm going to show you how the clear wax can kind of erase areas that are too dark. So I'm going to put that on. You see how it's lightening up? So this just kind of helps you smooth out areas that you feel might be a little too dark. Okay, that looks better to me. Let's see if I have some other areas. So this is the base of the bench, and I have a large roll of foam that I'm going to recreate the cushion with. So I'm just going to line this up with the long edge of the seat base against the edge of the foam so I don't have to cut that side. And then I'm going to, with my Sharpie, outline the foam. So I painted the underside white. I just thought it looked better than the hot mess that it was. It's still a hot mess, but again, I think it looks cleaner. That'll be the underside. This will go on top, and then my fabric is going to go on top of that. And this is the bee fabric I was mentioning earlier that I used to cover the seat of a captain's chair. And if you notice, there is a direction of the design, and I want it to go this way on my bench. So let's do this. So with that like that, I'm just going to cut a big piece of fabric. I've got an arrow staple gun, and I chose 1/4 inch staples. Hope that's going to be long enough. And we'll just start right here. Why do I get so nervous about doing something for the first time? It's just fabric, right? It's just fabric, Amy. It's just fabric. Okay, here we go. Guys. I think this one's too tight. So let's adjust these. There's got to be an easier way to do this, right? What am I doing wrong? If you see what I'm doing wrong, please comment. Clearly, I'm pulling it too tight. Let's try this. Pull this that way. Let's see if that's better. Guys, I wish I knew what I was doing. I watched YouTube. Yeah. Some people cut it and then they wrap it like a gift. I don't know about that. How do you ladies do this? Broken out in a sweat. That was hard. I think I need to go back to YouTube and do a little more research. I mean, it's not horrible, but, or maybe it is. I think I need to get back to square one in the morning. Oh. The following morning, I did readjust a couple of the staples and everything smoothed out just fine. I'm not really sure why I was in such a tizzy the day before. But I went ahead and reassembled the top to the base with the pre-existing screws. And I also cut a bumblebee with my silhouette die cutting machine and applied that decal to the front of the bench. If whoever purchases the bench doesn't like it, it will be able to peel off. It's kind of like a sticker, but if they like it, it'll stay put just fine. So here are the reveal pictures of my completed bench.